What's up, everybody? Old Man Winter 8 for Sun and Ski Sports, and in this video I'm going to be taking my first steps in the new Stoke Versa shoe. So Stoke is a men's shoe company that is relatively new, and they basically wanted to do one thing. They wanted to make a shoe that was just comfortable. Right off the bat, the shoes are a little bit wider. They actually build them a little bit wider, especially through the toe area here. And basically what they wanted to do is they wanted to have your foot sit in a little bit more natural position instead of getting pushed and squeezed together. So they only come in a wide or in an extra wide, and they do that for that exact reason, just to give you that nice, comfortable, flat-footed position. The other thing about these things too is you'll notice that the soles are extra thick on this thing. It has their power stack sole, which has a ton of cushioning. It's very, very thick through the entire thing, and it does kind of widen out a little bit to give you a little bit more platform to stand on when you're walking around. And the upper part of this shoe is made out of a stretchy mesh. We've got a little bit of extra durable materials, you know, around the toe and in that heel area that are giving you a little bit of support in those key areas too. But again, this shoe is literally just to put on your foot and hang out around the house or just walking around town. Just something, again, to just keep your feet nice and comfortable when you're not doing anything that's real heavy or athletic. But enough talking about these things. Let's go ahead and get them on and see how they feel. So one other thing that I should note right off the bat is they do have a step-in technology, so you can just kind of slide your foot into them. There's some elastic on the sides of the tongue here, and this tongue actually goes all the way up and it kind of wraps around your foot like a sock liner, so it feels like it's one. But then also in the back, it's a little sturdier, and it kind of lips out away from the shoe. You can kind of see how it kind of goes away from my heel a little bit, and that just makes it a little bit easier to just kind of slide your foot and wiggle it in there, so you don't really have to grab a hold of it with your hands to put it on. And these do come with an elastic lace, but if it's something where if you do prefer to have your shoes laced up and you want to have them a little bit tighter, they do come with a standard set of laces as well. But I'll tell you right off of the bat on these things, one thing I am noticing is that I am a little bit taller, which is understandable because these things obviously have a much thicker sole than these kind of loafers that I'm wearing on my other foot, but tons and tons of cushioning. You can actually feel that squishiness underneath your foot, and it feels nice. The one thing about the width on these things, I do feel a little bit of it here. I don't feel it quite as much up in the toe, but it's not bad. It actually does fit really well around my foot. And again, that was one of the things that they wanted to have as a big feature of these things, is that your foot could sit a little bit flatter. You just get a little bit more comfortable, kind of like a barefoot feel. But obviously we're not going barefoot. We're giving a ton of cushioning and, you know, everything that you want underneath your foot when you are standing on your feet all day long. So we're going to test these things out. I actually have some other videos I'm going to shoot. I'm going to wear these while I'm doing that. And I've got a few other errands and things to run around today, but we're going to go ahead and test these things out and see how they do for our first steps.
What? 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, spent the majority of the day in the Stoke Versa shoes, and they were exactly what I expected. They have a lot of comfort. There's a lot of cushion underneath your foot. You can really see when I push down on these things how the soles really compress, and especially in the heel where it's a little bit thicker. It actually has a little bit of give back to it too, so when you are walking a little bit faster, you can kind of feel it push back a little bit more, but it's not like super bouncy. But one thing that I definitely noticed is that they actually felt really stable. I thought with having that extra thick sole, and I know there's some running shoes out there that have thicker soles, but these seem to be even thicker than those. I thought that it was gonna feel a little uneasy, but the way that they've shaped the whole sole on this thing, where the bottom part of it actually goes out a little bit more, it really does give you that stability. Again, just for chilling all day. And with the sizing on these things, I am actually a 10.5 in the majority of the shoes that I wear. And after talking with Stoke, they suggested that I go with the 10s. So that's what they sent me. And I'll have to say that it really does work, where your feet kind of splay out and they sit a little more flat. They're not getting pushed and kind of crunched together with a sharp toe, because they have that wider fit through the middle of them. And it does allow your foot to sit in a little bit more natural position. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm actually able to wear the 10 instead of having to jump up to the 11. And you do get that really comfortable fit with that kind of one piece of the tongue sock liner, where basically the tongue goes down and then the whole part inside of the shoe around your foot is all one piece. So it literally is like sliding your foot into a sock, and you do get that real nice, comfortable, easy feel. And they are super, super lightweight too. So definitely a shoe that you could spend all day in. And, you know, obviously you're not going to be going out doing active stuff, but you just want something that's comfortable to hang out in. And I think these would be a great shoe too when maybe I get done snowboarding or get back from a hike, and I just want some nice, comfortable shoes to put on just to kind of help reduce that foot fatigue, basically help your feet recover from after you've been doing some really, really active stuff in some different shoes. But again, I would have to say, for my first steps to these things, I was very, very pleased. And one other thing that I should say about the Stoke shoes too, is kind of nice, is there are a lot of shoes out there that are athletic shoes that are for maybe running or walking or basketball, or for doing all these, you know, sports where you're basically spending well over $100 to get a shoe that has a bunch of stuff that you don't necessarily need for just hanging out in all day. And that's one of the cool things about the Stoke shoes, is that the price is probably about $50 to $100 cheaper than all of those other sneakers, because these basically give you what you need to be comfortable. And if you're buying a shoe that has all those extra features in it, again, for just a shoe that you're hanging out in all day long, you really don't need that, and there's no sense in spending any extra money on it. But if you got any questions about anything they talked about in the video, definitely leave some comments down below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to the Sun and Ski YouTube channel, and make sure to head on in your local Sun and Ski so you can check out the Stoke Versas for yourself. And if you don't have one nearby, no problem. You can always just look them up at sunandski.com.